Hey guys, it's Mike McErlane with another episode of Workout 101. One of the most overlooked things that we do in the gym is stretching. Not a lot of people do it. I myself even sometimes forget to do it. But stretching is very important. But there are a lot of questions around stretching. When to do it, how to do it, what's the best way to do it, what are some of the best techniques to do. So what I'm going to cover today is something that I know every single person out there should be stretching, and that is your hip flexors. If you do any type of leg movements, any type of walking, sitting, we are mostly sitting in most of our jobs these days. Not a lot of people move. So what happens, because you're in a position that you're sitting all day, your hip flexors become very tight, your abs become weak, and your back starts to become weak too. So what will happen is a lot of times we get what's called an anterior tilt, to where our butt sticks out, and that's why as people walk, as they get older, their butt sticks out. I know, didn't look very flattering. But I'm going to show you an exercise that you guys really should start doing every day, okay? Now, when to stretch? Well, that's a good question. It really depends. A lot of people will say stretch before you work out, after you work out. Really, the best time to stretch is just to where the muscles are warm, okay? Depending on the type of stretching that you are going to be doing should constitute when you actually do it. Obviously, if you're training for a marathon, you're not going to be stretching after you run the marathon. You probably want to warm up and do some stretching so that you don't pull certain things. But right now, this particular stretch, which I'm going to show you how to do, can be done pretty much right after you get done with about a 5 or 10 minute warm up to where you get a little bit of a sweat going. All right, so it's very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop to one knee here. If you ever played any sports, you're probably familiar with the coaches telling you guys to take a knee. So that's exactly what it is. You want to drop to a knee and put the other knee here, the other leg at a 90-degree angle, and you don't want one foot in front of the other. You want to make sure you have a stable base here, okay, to where there's a little bit of distance in between where your foot placement is and obviously your knee here. And what I'm going to do, in order to stretch the hip flexors, and you might see people doing this in the gym and wondering what they're doing. Well, what they're doing is they're trying to stretch their hip flexors. Well, how do you stretch your hip flexor in this position? Well, what you want to do is first you want to put your right hand on your right hip or the leg that is down. And you want to lean forward just a little bit. You don't want to lean forward like this. That does nothing. The key to this stretch is to posterior rotate or shift your hips forward and squeeze your glute, and that's going to stretch your hip flexor. At the same time that you do that, you want to turn slightly and point your opposite shoulder here in the backward position. So all you're doing, squeeze your glute or the leg that is down on the ground, place your opposite arm on this knee, place this hand on your back hip here, so it looks like this, and all you're going to do is turn slightly, squeeze that glute, and lean back just a little bit. And what you'll feel is you'll feel a magnificent stretch coming all the way down from your hips all the way down to your knee. You hold that for anywhere between about 30 to 45 seconds, okay? Don't stretch and strain, just make sure that you can actually feel a stretch, okay? Do the same thing to the other side. So once again, right knee up, we're stretching our left hip flexor, okay? Squeeze this glute, squeeze it. You gotta flex the glute. You wanna shift your hips forward. Don't lean forward, shift your hips forward. Place the same hand, opposite knee, this hand back here, and almost you're going to push down with your hand here, shift your hips forward, lean back and turn slightly. Now as you do that, I can feel a nice stretch in my hip flexors. So if you squat, if you do a lot of leg exercises, it's probably a good idea to do this exercise or this stretch before you move into those lower leg movements, okay? So this is Mike McErlane with Workout 101. Until next time, take care, guys.